So, some thoughts on the military diet. I just finished. It's December 21st, and I started this diet on a Wednesday, so it was basically Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I did the 3 days. Now it's Saturday, and I ended up losing, let's see, I've got my stuff written down here. 189.5 was where I started. So after day one, I was down to 186.8, so not too bad. After day two, I was 185. Today I weighed in, I was 184.1. So my total weight loss was just over 5 pounds. It was 5.4 pounds. This diet is one of those lose 10 pounds in 3 days, super fat burn type thing. And I have some thoughts on why I lost the weight that I did. Particularly after I got on the treadmill this morning and had such a hard time with exercising. I'd be interested to see where I'm at right now as far as ketones. Even though it was not a no-carb diet, I would just be interested to see what the difference is right now compared to where I was. Also, the amount of glycogen in my muscles. I think that part of this diet is you're creating a situation where your body's going to fatigue easily, and then your body's not really going to be able to rebuild easily. So what you're taking in for calories during the day doesn't necessarily translate to fueling that's going to bring you back up to where you need to be the next day. And I've noticed that I've been progressively tired more and more later in the day, earlier in the day actually, as I've gotten through the diet. And this morning I got up at 5 o'clock, got up at my regular time, and I was sitting here getting ready to get on the treadmill and noticed that I just started feeling tired. It was about an hour after I got up, about 6 o'clock, that I started feeling tired. About 6:30 I got on the treadmill. I did 1 mile on the treadmill and just kind of felt not good. So, it's good to do a diet that's going to help you out, and I think the reason why I did this diet was to sort of, reset my metabolism, basically, just sort of reset where my body was at, because I was doing the same thing over and over, wasn't losing any weight, and just wanted to sort of take a few days and, try to sort of reset things. And also, it gave me 3 days of regulation for caffeine, and more specifically, it gave me 3 days of no energy drinks and drinking no calories whatsoever. I drink my coffee black. I had water, plain water. I tried to hydrate well. I don't think I did so good on day one and day two, but yesterday I think I did pretty good. And so by the time I got to today, I was really hoping to see lower numbers overall in terms of weight loss, but I was also very apprehensive about how that weight was being lost, because I don't think I necessarily lost fat as much as losing muscle mass. And we'll see what happens tomorrow, because I'm supposed to do a long run, and I don't know how that's going to be. I'm going to try to refuel today, bring myself back up to where I need. But essentially, I think what's going to happen is I'm going to regain all of that weight that I lost, because I think it's a combination of muscle mass that's been lost. I think I'm potentially dehydrated, even though I've been hydrating well. And, overall, is it a good diet? It accomplished a goal of losing a significant amount of weight in a fairly short period of time. I think there are healthier ways to do that. I don't think this is necessarily the best way to lose that weight. I also think that there are inherent disadvantages to pursuing some sort of a weight loss like this. So if you're going to do this for certain reasons. Don't do this for healthy weight loss. Do this for, sort of shaking things up with your body, giving your metabolism something else to process and some other way to function. But understand that you're not going to feel good. You're going to be tired. Is it unbearable? No. I've seen people post, military diet videos where they're just complaining about how little energy they have and how bad they feel. And it's like, if you need food that bad every day, that you really don't feel good if you eat, you need to just sort of consider the Western diet in general and how lucky we are that we have an opportunity to eat 3 meals a day and snacks and everything else, but that our bodies don't necessarily need that. So I'll go back to where I was before I did the military diet. I'm a real big fan of intermittent fasting, and I think for me that tends to work out. So I'm on an 8-16 window, which is 8 hours of fueling, 16 hours of fasting. So I eat from 12 to 8, and then I fast from 8 p.m. till 12 the next day. So I don't eat breakfast. I don't eat any calories or anything until lunchtime, ideally. And that for me works fairly effectively. So that's what I'm going to go back to. Hopefully going back to that will keep me at this lower weight. And then, maybe I'll just try this again at some point down the road in a little bit of a modified version. I think as I'm looking through some of the selections that this diet makes for daily food, there are some things that don't make sense to me, and I'm not sure where this diet came from or what the science is behind it. But for example, on some days your starch is supposed to be, let's see, five saltine crackers. And for the days where I was supposed to have whole wheat toast, I actually had Ezekiel bread, sprouted grain bread, so it's less processed, it's more organic, it's just better for you. And I think that in comparison with like saltine crackers, I kind of find fault in that. Also, one of the things that the diet has you eat every night is ice cream. Like, you can have ice cream as a snack. I don't give a shit about snacks. I'm not really big on the snacking. I don't really care for, sweet stuff necessarily. I'm more the salty and sour type guy. So, when the diet calls for, like cheddar cheese, that's much more of an attractive snack option to me. There were substitutions that I could make on the ice cream, but all in all, it was, I understood or agreed with some of the meal selections. You're eating lean meats like tuna or 3 ounces of meat. I selected like a low-fat cube steak. But then one night for dinner you have 2 hot dogs. So that was like dinner on the second night. And Mary looks at me and she's like, "Why the hell are you eating hot dogs? I thought you were on a special diet." And it's like, yeah, that is the special diet. So I think I would approach this as every meal I would basically have a lean meat, I would have a piece of whole wheat bread or toast, and then I would have some sort of a vegetable to go along with that. So one of the nights called for broccoli. I just ate it raw, didn't cook it, just cut it up and ate it. One of the nights called for green beans. One night called for carrots, so those are all good. Half a grapefruit was breakfast, among the breakfast selections one day. There were other things I was supposed to eat too that day. So apples, bananas, things like that. I mean, all in all, I think if you're going to do a calorie-restricted diet, you need to do it in a healthier manner than this. So I've rattled on long enough about that. I'm going to stop for now. Excuse me. But yeah, so that was the military diet for me. So I will take this, I'll modify this, and maybe after the first of the year, to just sort of get that holiday, eating and junk food out of my system, maybe what I'll do at that point is do a modified military diet. I'll compare the two, and I'll see how I turn out with my version of that. But all in all, I'm alive, I feel fine, I'm a little tired, but other than that, the big concern is weight gain right after you do this diet, and that's the case of any calorie deprivation or fasting. You're not gonna not gain some weight back. So we'll just see. We'll give it a few days and see how I weigh in at the end of the week.